All right, guys, we got a very special guest here. We got Sal Corallo from the University of Tampa, former, we still resides in Long Island and everything like that. But real quick, just want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Dizana Sports, makers of the Grind Air Glove, maker of the new SF Jogger. So definitely reach on out to DizanaSports.com. Let them know we sent you. And just a little special gift for you guys. Use code OVERSHOT for 10% off. So definitely reach out to them. Definitely get your stuff laced up from head to toe. Joggers, I wear them all the time. I'm wearing them now, even doing this podcast. So definitely reach on out. But Sal, typical question. How did you start playing paintball? How did you find paintball? And then we'll just kind of rock and roll and go down the rabbit hole.
All right. So I started off in like 2009, probably around about the same way every other person starts. But my friends had a birthday party. But the thing was, I wasn't invited to that birthday party. So they all went and played and had like a great ass time. And they were like, hey, after the birthday party, they were like, yo, you got to come try this. So the first time I went to Arena and they convinced me to wear shorts. So I played with a tipman in shorts, got torched, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. So I like started after that. And from 6th grade on, I've been hooked, pretty much playing on and off sporadically, honestly, but it's been a pretty big part of my life.
Awesome, man. So in those original Arena days, for those that don't know, we speak to a lot of people all over the United States, some England, some Asia, some India kind of stuff. But looking at the stats today, for those that know what Arena is or whatever like that. So Arena is a Long Island paintball field. It's an indoor. Sometimes it's an L shape. Sometimes it's a straight little indoor field. But so that's kind of where Sal started off and everything like that. And then where did it go from there, man? I mean, did you just play in there every week? You jump on a team? Did you start your own team? I know you're kind of, in my world, I call them arena rats. Like you're an arena rat, maybe not an OG day one, but you were definitely, that was your home field and that was where you played, mostly for a while.
Yeah. Arena was where I started. I started going pretty much every Friday after school. Me and a couple of friends would just go and we'd play. And gradually we just started meeting more people. We formed like our little own team and we started playing in like the Young Guns tournaments that they had there, little 3-mans with all of our friends. I started going to like Obnoxious for a little bit. Then obviously they closed down. And I didn't make it out until Cousins or play like outside until probably like 2014. So I never saw what like a full airball field looked like. I had no idea. I was just pretty much indoor. That was all I did. I had a spider, and I pretty much just ran there for a little bit until I started upgrading and really getting into it every weekend. After Fridays, we started getting more serious. So like we would play Sunday mornings, and there was obviously like better competition, but the real competition usually went outside. So we kind of like honed our skills there that way. And I guess like once they opened up their little reball section in the back, we started like meeting more guys from like the better teams that would play outdoors, and they kind of like took us under their wing and we like learned a lot from them about like basic fundamentals, snapping, drills every week. And that just became like the way that I learned how to shoot people.
Now, who are some of those guys that kind of taught you? Like, who are the guys that you even maybe directly worked with or indirectly inspired you? I know you're a big Dynasty fan or anything like that. So like, who's your favorite player? Like, as far as the local guys that help you, shout out to them or whatever. But who was kind of your inspiration in the game?
Yeah, like I used to watch Dynasty a lot. You know that. Every event, I was always watching Dynasty, always rooting for Dynasty. Probably like our biggest influence at Arena, I guess a lot of our like friends that we always used to look up to the lift guys. As cliche as that is, like I know a lot of people shit on me for that, but it was always so fun to watch them just because they were so good, like at least like way better than we were. Right. One of the guys that we like really took a liking to was Yabo, Steve Yabs. When he played on Illuminati, he used to come to Arena and like teach us how to snap shoot and stuff. So he was one of like my first big paintball influences when I was probably like 14, 15. He showed me the ropes a lot. We used to like, honestly, we used to get smoked playing against like the lift kids on walk-ons. And like that just motivated us to get better and be like, we want to be like that. So it was just a lot of grinding there in the back. We just shot at like literally like stationary targets, did sliding drills until we were like, I guess, decent enough to even step foot on the airball field out at Cousins.
Gotcha, man. I mean, not a lot of people were I mean, I'll be honest, dude, I think I played more tournaments ever than I ever did drills back like until I became a coach and I kind of saw that kind of stuff. Now, kind of going with you're saying is I feel like kids nowadays, I don't know if it's they're soft or anything like that, or it's a bit different, but I feel like every kid wants that instant gratification. But, to me, it sounds like you took your licks and you still enjoyed it. You're like, yo, we got destroyed. Like, I don't feel like kids nowadays are like that. They don't got that mindset. I mean, what do you think might be like why paintball is not as prevalent as it could be? Do you think it's a societal thing, or do you think it's just there's so much other things vying for their attention?
No, I mean, like, that's a good question. I think, I mean, when I was playing, and like, obviously at Arena, like, it was uncapped semi. So like, if you got shot and you didn't walk out, like, people would just unload. Like, it was just like the standard. But when I started playing with like the older players, they made it like a point. They were like, if you get shot, like, you're gonna get shot until you walk out. And I feel like, I don't know if it's because, like, I guess kids nowadays don't really have as much to do, or like they're more like technology oriented. Like, when I was a kid, I was always out doing stuff, and I feel like that's kind of gotten lost. I feel like paintball is not as popular maybe for kids. I don't know. I don't really see kids having birthday parties playing paintball anymore, like as frequent as it was back when I played. But
I think it's a big culture thing too, because like
yeah.
I'm 32 this year, so like I remember back in the day, like we had the basketball hoop in the cul-de-sac, and I didn't have to text anyone to meet up. Like when we got out of school, we went home, we got changed, and if you were down to hang out, everybody met the basketball hoop, and we decided what sport we're gonna play, whether we had enough dudes for hockey or we're gonna play 2-on-2 football. Or I just feel like that's dead now. Kids are just they go home and then they stay inside. And
I mean, especially with everything that's kind of prevalent right now. But
I mean that aside. Like, yeah, no one's going out right now, but like, I mean, even before, like, even when I was like 25, I realized I was like, they cut down that basketball hoop that I used to hang out at all the time. Like, why would you do that? Like,
nobody's doing that no more, man. Nobody.
Because no one's going
into
the hoop.
In like 6th grade, 7th grade, we would all take our bikes to like our school playground and go do something. I feel like nobody does that. Like, I'll drive by my elementary school and nobody's out there. Like, no one does anything. I feel like, but I don't know. I guess maybe like a cultural difference, but I'm 22, so like I don't really have much of a input on that, to be honest.
No problem, man.
Interesting to me that you think the same thing, and even though we're, like I said, I'm 10 years older than you, but even I've noticed that, and you could say yeah, you were one of those people who outside and played, but you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I also like saw it in my little brother too. He's like 4 years younger than me, and his friends don't do the same thing that I did, so could be that.
So you're out of Arena. You finally got to a paintball field. You said you've been playing Young Guns. What went there? I mean, it was your first time out at Calverton, out at Cousins. Did you ever play anywhere before that? Outdoors?
No, Cousins was like the first time. I don't know if like Mike Murata really was like, hey, we're all gonna go out there. Name dropping some people probably, I don't even know if people would know, but they're like, we're going to go out there and we're going to play against teams. We're going to play against Lift. We're going to play against Leverage and Illuminati and Master Blasters. And we were all like, I don't even know what that is. And like, we just went out there.
You had no idea. You had no idea it even existed, really. Like, it was like,
I mean, like, I watched it because like I watched like PSP, I watched MPPL. So like I knew what it was, but like I personally never played it. So like when I stepped foot on the field, I was like, oh, this is weird. Cause like, the first thing I noticed, like you could see the streams of paint coming in, whereas like at Arena, we'd play with like dark green or dark purple shell. Like you didn't see it.
No.
So, it was like, oh, I got shot. Damn.
Yeah, and like nobody really bunkered people at Arena either. So like going out there and like getting stabbed, it was just like interesting. And I was like, no shot. Like that just happened. Like how? It was like a real like wake up call. I was like, oh, this is like a really different game, but at the same time, it's like a lot better. Like I enjoyed it more than being confined to like the three back row bunkers going like 7 bunkers deep, and like
that was a bowling alley pretty much.
Yeah,
you weren't able to, like, while there was bunkers, like there really wasn't a lot of bunkers to play. Like,
yeah, they'd have like,
when you're outside, you can play everything.
It was like 3 cans in the back, and then it was like the snake, and it was like, well, how do you get to the snake if like everybody picks up their gun off the rip and then just shoots? Like you're never gonna get in there.
Yeah.
So it was like you'd have 10 people behind each can off the break for like 30 on 30, and like you just hopefully like you make it up the field because you survived long enough. But it was just really different, like a different perspective. But at least playing in there and like playing in an indoor scenario, like I learned how to like gun battle or like at least shoot my gun pretty well. So when I did get out there and I like learned that I had more space and time, like I got better at that. And also like now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure there was like sideline coaching. So that like kind of helped. So like if you were in the snake, someone would be like, all right, come up, shoot that guy. Whereas like now that isn't really a thing, but
yeah.
Now with sideline coaching and everything like that, we actually just had a kind of a post about, coaching and everything like that. Do you think, I mean, especially like, when you first started, like, did that help you in your game? Did that hinder you in your game? Because my feelings is like coaching, like stop the big moves because like, yo, highway. But also it did help people get some kind of a skill. Like, I feel like some people it hindered, I feel like some people, they were only good because they could listen to that coach on the side. Yeah. Like we had this kid, Dave Hartman, and Dave legit, you'd be like, Dave fucking 2 inches back. He'd go at 48-degree angle, you know what I mean? And he's whatever. All right, pop out now. And he would be able to do it because of the way his brain works and so analytical. But once that coaching went away, I felt like his game drastically decreased.
I mean, like, I definitely noticed a difference because personally, like when I was in those situations, like I wouldn't know what to do necessarily. So I feel like if someone was newer and they had a coach with like more situational awareness, they could be like, oh, this is what you're going to do. Like, this is like your main goal of this position. Whereas like now it's like, I think if you don't, I don't even know how to say it. Like if you don't have the sideline coach, it allows you to think more on your own, obviously. And like it differentiates between the guys that actually have the IQ to make the move versus the guy who just relies on the coach. So I think it plays into that. But if you have like relatively like a small amount of experience, it definitely helps like learn the fundamentals or like common situations that you would be into. Like, oh, you get in the snake one, like you shoot the inside, like your back guy has the tape kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Whereas like kids will get in the snake now and they'll just shoot down the wire because they don't know that the back guy should have them.
Right.
I also kind of feel like that with the ramping gun, that's why they have to eliminate the sideline coaching because so now you took in the skill of shooting the gun out of it. Like with ramping, anyone can shoot their gun. So now if you allow sideline coaching, now you're taking the mental aspect out of the game. So like, what is the game then at that point? You have a machine gun that you could shoot one-handed a zillion balls a second, and you have someone on the sideline telling you where everybody is. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I think that
dude, it's like robots, man. It's like I feel like that's why I know back in the day, like Bob Long was like notorious for that. Like he was taking fucking Filipino soccer players that never played paintball and just fucking diving them in like the snake and shit and coaching them up the field, and they were just fast as fuck and shooting 38 balls per second because all Bob's fucking intimidators were cheating motherfucking boards or whatever. But kind of reverting back, Sal. So you're at Cousins, and then you started a team. You started Patton Avenue Kids. Was that your idea or was that someone else's?
My first team was like it was me and like a couple kids from my like middle school, but they all quit. So like they all dropped off, and I met Cody. As like Cody, but no one else would. We had the idea that we were going to start because we were like the irregular Friday night crew. So we were like, oh, let's make a team with all the kids that play here Friday nights. And we called it Patton Ave Kids because like we played at the arena every Friday and it was on Patton Ave. So we were like, oh, that's cool. And that was just the name we went with. And I had like, as we would meet people that were like older than us, they'd be like, oh no, we can't do Patton Ave Kids because we're not kids. And we were like, but we are. And we started the team. So it was like people were like, we're Patton boys. And I was like, that just sounds stupid. Like, no, like we're like 14, 15 years old. Like we're going to play as kids. Like, that's just it.
Dude, yeah, just join the fucking team or don't join the fucking team, bro. Like, who gives a fuck if it's kids or old men or whatever? Like, dude, that's the name of the team. Like, either you're with it or you're not with it.
Yeah, like we didn't do anything like substantially crazy. Like we played like the Arena Young Guns still. We played like they have like their like rookie 3-man or whatever it was, where it was like if you weren't a young gun, like you could play that one. And then we started playing in like the CTS right as it like kind of faded out. So that's like where we really started playing like on the airball field and like getting into like the more localized events. And
so kind of where I kind of like met you again is, mentioning the Cousins tournament series and stuff like that. I was playing 3-man, they had the 3-man and then the 5-man and eventually, but you guys, I remember the big thing with you guys was, the same guy, Yabo or whatever, like you had him and you had, cause that's how I was looking. I was like, oh, these kids got fucking Yabo and Chemolinsky and they think they're going to fucking be hot shit and win this 3-man tournament.
Oh, dude,
and like, they got wrecked, dude.
we got like last place or like 14th out of 15th or something. And I was playing with them and I was like, what?
Sal was like, damn, I brought in these ringers. It didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Their beeline got better than them. And it was,
Yeah.
it was this kid, Dean, whatever.
We were so much better than the beeline too. And then like, they just went out like, it was, I guess, I don't know. They were like, we're not used to playing 3-man. But then I was like, dude, if you're like good, like you can still play 3-man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. If you're good at paintball, you're good at paintball.
I'm going to tell you this. I think 3-man is actually the most not paintball thing. Like, it's the most craziest format because it's like, I don't know, man. 3-man's nuts. The craziest shit I've seen 3-man, man. There's one guy left against like Jablonski and Chemlinski, like some good players, and the dude's like this, shooting over the top, and he shoots somebody in the face, and then you're like, how the fuck? None of this makes sense. Yeah. Or a bunch of people are looking one way. I mean, dude, I played 3-man, and like Craig's one job was to like make sure I didn't,
especially with like, the wall. Just run up to the wall and you shoot everybody, and then you win the game.
Bro, there was no. Yeah, that's how new you are. There was no wall back then. It was the A.
A. Yeah. Like
yeah. A. That's rookie mode up here.
5 with the A. It was sick. They would be like, hey, we had like a call if somebody was on the other side, you could like run under it or like go around.
Yo, especially when you guys were little and young, man.
Yeah,
it's like fucking
like coming over the top.
So yeah, man. So you guys played 3-man, you played some 5-mans, and then I mean, we're kind of catch us up to what you're doing now. I know you run the University of Tampa team, and we'll kind of dig into that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll catch you up to speed. Like I'll go from that point to now. So like after like the CTS, there was like another team that we had like CTS beef with, I guess, and they kind of like merged with us, and we played EPL for 2 years. We didn't win anything. We came in second like a bunch of times, third a bunch of times. And then Arena closed probably like 2014. I think it was like the end of summer. So everyone literally was like, all right, let's hang up the gun. Like no one played again. So that was like where I thought my paintball road kind of ended. And I came down here to play hockey. So that was like, I guess, all right, paintball's done. But I brought my paintball gear down here just because I thought like, oh, Florida has like a lot of fields. Like I'm just going to do it. And then in the middle of my first semester, I found out we had a team here. So I hopped on kind of like after the peak of like where my team was at. It's like I joined as a lot of the seniors graduated. So when I came on, we had like 10 guys, but then they all graduated. So it was kind of me and a few others. And I've kind of grown the team back to where it was after graduating, like a lot of the people who like started it.
Gotcha. So you're like kind of the second, like how long has the team been around? Like the club team and everything like that?
So our first president started the team in around like 2009. And I think he ran it for like his duration of his 4 years here. And then he graduated. And then it didn't resurface again until Alan, who was our previous president in like 2012, 2013. And then by the time like I got here, like when I was a freshman, he was a senior. So okay. I took it over from him. So like it was just there was like a gap period of like 3 or 4 years where nobody played paintball here, and then he reinvigorated it, found contacts with the old president, like restarted the club, and then like I've been trying to carry it out from where he left off.
Now, how many events have you guys played, and anything like that, and how have you done? I know you wanted to show off a nice trophy you guys got kind of recently, but kind of go through, your guys' journey as a club. From you, I know you said you kind of took it over, but originally you were just a player and a member. That first semester or whatever, did you play an event with them? Did you?
Yeah. So the first semester that I joined was actually right after World Cup 2016. So it was like the 2016-17 semester. And they had like a healthy like amount of guys. Like the team had 2 lines at Cup. And by the time that I got on, like a good amount of them graduated. So I joined at the time right where we would catch the spring nationals event. So the first event that I played with the team was an SPL right before nationals. And then I played nationals. And then summer came and like a good amount of the people graduated. So usually like every year, like, or at least previously to where like I joined, they would play the entire SPL circuit, NXL Cup and NCPA nationals. So they'd play like 6-7 events. Wow. And then around like when I joined, I noticed like a decline in at least the number of people that were willing to play and like join and really get into it the same way that like you and I would look at tournament paintball, or like that anyone would really look at it. So for me, it's been more of like being able to play like the main 2 events of the year, which is like Cup and Nationals, because they're both down here. They're both like an hour away.
Awesome. Nice and close.
Yeah. So it's been really cool because we've had the opportunity to play the 2 large scale events, but then in between we play the SPL.
Is that still going? Is that still even a thing right now currently?
No, it's canceled. The last event got canceled. It was supposed to be like last month.
Gotcha. No, I'm saying I thought the league when I thought MVPS took over everything down
No,
there.
I mean like, MVP they run like at the same time.
Okay.
From what I've noticed, like at least the MVPS gets more competition. Like I mean like better teams or like more quantity of teams, but the SPL has its like loyal teams that'll play every event. I think it's usually in Florida. Like the logo is Florida, but this year they changed it and they moved 2 events to Georgia. And I don't know if that was like a response to more teams moving over to the MVPS or not, but they still get a healthy number of teams. Like it's definitely like a well-constructed league. Like it runs. So I definitely like enjoy playing that, but I could see why other teams choose MVPS.
Now we've had a couple people on here that have played. Well, mostly we had Justin from Columbus level. A bunch of their guys are actually, they went to the University of Akron. They went to, Ohio State, a bunch, all the colleges up in that direction, and they all played NCPA and everything like that. Did you, you guys play Class AA, which is like the normal 5-man format? You guys haven't been able, because like you said, you're kind of rebuilding the team. You haven't been able to do Class A, which is the old school.
The X-Ball. No, I mean, like, I don't think the team here per se has ever played in the X-Ball. Like, I don't think Alan even had the numbers to play X-Ball. Because otherwise I feel like I would have seen it on TV, because I used to watch it on ESPN, or like I used to watch the streams because I thought college paintball was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I never ever noticed our team there. But we predominantly play Class AA, which is the 5-man, same thing, like race to 2. Most of the teams in the league play 5-man. There's like maybe 8 to 12 teams in the Class A.
Right. And those are like 25 teams in AA?
We had 37 last nationals.
Wow. Okay. So is what I know. You know what I mean? But I've definitely followed it and stuff like that. So, he was kind of telling us, more so, and I kind of want you to kind of, for people that haven't, they're thinking about doing the club thing or starting a club or anything like that. I know you weren't there for the start of the club, but I know like fundraisers and things like that. Like Justin was telling us, like they were selling candy bars. They were going to they were working like the Cleveland Browns games or some shit, selling like, Skittles or whatnot. You know what I mean? So He said that they actually got lucky and they had a guy that was like really good at it. And now he does it for a living, that they were able to raise, I think he said like 10 grand, and they would just spend the 10 grand at nationals. Cause back when they were doing it, that's when it was the full 25-minute and they were shooting 90 cases. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, coming from someone like, when I went to Suffolk, there was a team for a bit. I went to the first meeting and I kind of tried to say like, let's get a deal from Smart Parts, and everyone was like, fuck Smart Parts, blah, blah, blah. Let's go and fill out a form online with Dye Paintball. Let's just go to the website and fill it out. I'm like, you guys don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like Kristen Tao was there and shit. This dude, his friend that used to play with a Steely tank. I'm like, dude, why don't you just buy a real fucking tank? But whatever. They were called like the Fighting Pigeons, and they went to Virginia, got spanked. But whatever. I think they went to Liberty actually and got spanked. Right? Liberty's from Virginia?
Yeah. I don't know exactly. I think maybe Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know they have like a full turf X-ball field on their campus.
No, it is Virginia. You're right.
So,
but Liberty's good. They have a bus and stuff too. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Liberty Paintball outside of a bus. I was like, no,
that's legit, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, like they have a program. They had all custom GO3s a couple of years ago. Like, it's unreal.
But going back to that, then, as far as being a club president and everything like that, like, what does that entail? Like, what kind of help, or what kind of like you said, you kind of took the presidency. I know you got to get tournament players, but you also got to get rec ball play. You got to get like people actually in the club and stuff like that. So kind of go down that road.
Yeah. So like our school is actually like I think really good at like acknowledging club sports. I had a I was fortunate enough to have a really good relationship with our campus rec department and our like the head of campus recreation. So when I came in, like I met him because I was obviously playing hockey before paintball. So I had like a prior relationship with that division. So when I got the club, like I was really able to see how everything really operates. Our club, like they basically like rank all the clubs on like a tier system, and they'll allocate a certain amount of funds to each club so they can participate in 1 to 2 events per semester and like really support them. So our campus rec department was really big about funding World Cup and the national tournament because they were like, oh, these are really big scale events that could like broadcast our university. So they were um, really big at like pushing us to be able to play those. I know they've done like I've done a lot of things with Campus Rec to try to at least grow the team. So aside from the tournament team, we have like a recreational division where like if you have never played paintball or like you've heard of it and you want to try it out, we do a van trip each once a semester where like Campus Rec will cover the costs of all the transportation, the paint, and the rentals. And like I think if you're a student, you have to pay $10, and we'll bus like 40 kids out to the local orbital field, and we'll play woods ball, hyper ball, a little bit of speed ball, to expose them. And then the kids from there then go, how do I get into this? Like, how do I join the team? And that's like a big proponent in like how we've tried to grow the team. Like at least just this year alone, aside from this semester with the COVID thing, like I had 3 kids go out and buy full CS1 setups to join and play.
Damn, dude.
And it's been like a really good thing, and they see it. So they've been willing to fund it each semester to try to like grow the club and like help us, I guess, maintain a sizable roster, like a club soccer team where they have like 30, 40 people. So yeah, I mean, like the biggest hardship, I guess, is finding that interest. Like I've seen kids on campus wear like paintball shirts, or some kid had an Empire backpack, and I'd be like, yo, do you play paintball? And they'll be like, nah, not anymore. And like they don't have any interest in it. So like sparking the interest or like finding those niche players like is really what is like the harder part.
So they're like jaded. Something definitely happened. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen kids go like, oh yeah, I used to play in high school, and they don't want to play anymore. But
I mean, dude, I'd be like, dude, like it's pretty much almost all covered, bro. Like, you sure you don't want to fucking? Well, I'm sure you've said shit. You know what I mean?
Use that as like a pitch because kids will be like, oh yeah, like I used to play. I played like D4 or D3, and I'm like, that's fine. Like, do you have a gun? And they're like, I don't. I was like, do you want a gun? And, like, try that hard to like get them to go buy it, and like that's just the biggest part because people are like, oh, I don't have money, broke college kids, you know?
Right.
Yeah, man. But I love what you're doing, like on that recreational thing, because that whole like hashtag grow paintball, hashtag paintball strong, all that. Like, honestly, dude, to me, it's all bullshit because like do something. Like from what you're doing is you're taking someone. This is really growing the game. Someone that's never played before. Try this out. Get a gun. Join the team. Like it's a step. It's like all steps in the right direction. It was kind of going back to what I want to try to do with the paintball camp, because it's like, dude, like most people, they'll go to a field, you know, they don't even know that there's a competitive end of it. They're like, nobody's how many people are walking back to the Cousins airball field 2 football fields? Like they're not walking back there. They have no idea it exists. Yeah. Nobody knows fucking paintball is a sport. They just think it's a thing they do at, Johnny's birthday party once a year. They don't even know they can go and play rec ball. So I think kind of like your kind of thing, that's great because you're getting college kids. It's active. It's outside. You're grabbing 40 people. And like you said, you send 40 people, 3 of them bought guns. Like,
I mean, at least like what I noticed, like we have like tabling events where like we'll set up a little table and we'll set up like with our gear and like try to get people to sign up on campus, or at least like hear us out about what the club's about so they can join. And like predominantly, like more girls come up to the table and say like, I've never played paintball. Like, how do I do it? And so like predominantly, like I have an Instagram post. Like we had these 5 girls from like our Air Force, like our ROTC program come out and play. And like they loved it. And like my favorite thing is to like, I have like 10 jerseys. Like I'll give people my gear and let them shoot my gun, and I'll play with the rental just so they can get the fun of it. And like they'll go out there and have so much fun just because they can go play with their roommates, and they'll tell all their roommates about it for the next time. So like half the time we'll be like, oh, paintball's this day. It'll fill up the day they release the trip idea.
That's awesome, dude.
So many people love to just be able to play for $10. Like that's like unheard of to be able to do. Like usually it's like
Dude,
6
sign me up, bro. $10,
right? Yeah.
I
So
spend more. I spend $10 in fucking that breakfast that morning. You know what I'm trying to say?
so I've been like really trying, at least I've been showing the campus rec side of things that like it's really important to just expose people to paintball and like how I guess like how different it is from like other conventional sports. Like I have to do a budget presentation every year where like I'll talk about how much revenue we would need or like how much money we're spending. And a lot of that goes into like the money that people need for the equipment because that's the biggest besides the paint, the biggest expense is the equipment. So if you don't have your own stuff, you know, like you're talking about shelling out $500-$600 for like a mid-level gun.
Yeah.
If you don't buy it used at least.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to just push that that recreational side of it for like the past two semesters, and they've really taken a liking to that. So that's something that I've taken away that as a positive for at least the club.
Dude, that's awesome. Like I said, that's like really growing paintball. That's like, you know, like you said, you know, the ROTC girls, and that's even crazier to me because like paintball's not like, yeah, women can play it, men can play, and like anybody, big, small, there's a spot for everybody. You could be 300 pounds man, you could be a 90-pound girl, like everybody can play, but there isn't a lot of women in our sport. There isn't a lot of women, and for you to be able to like say like mostly the girls want to come and play, like they want to come and fucking shoot people, which that's like I would have never thought that. I mean, I've seen that post before, but I would have never. What do you think there's I don't know, something in the water down there? Like, why do you think that is? I mean, or you're just like this. You're like, you want to play paintball? I'm about it. Man, woman, child, alien.
Yeah, I mean, like we'll sit out there at the table and like we'll like yell at kids and we'll be like from across the field. We'll be like, hey, you, do you want to play paintball? Do you want to shoot your friends? Like we'll hold our gun and be like, do you want? And they'll just like want nothing to do with it. But then like the people that are like really curious about it, like will come and approach us and like really ask. Like, I don't know. I guess if girls are just like, oh, this seems fun, like let's do that. But a lot of the guys are like, oh, paintball, like people be like, paintball hurts. And I'm like, it's not bad. Like you don't need to have any experience to play. Like you're literally like my pitch is you don't have to know how to play. Like we're gonna bring you and we're gonna teach you how to play. And you can literally play against people who have never played before. So it's all even. It's not like anyone's gonna come and like run up on you.
It's a controlled environment too. It's you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's really not like as violent as like people make it out to be, especially like in other sports. That's what I tell people. I'm like, well, doesn't paintball hurt? I'm like, oh, you ever like played hockey or like played football? They're like, oh yeah. Well, I'm like, yeah. Well, you ever getting hit in the open field as a ball carrier playing football? Hurts a lot worse than getting hit with a paintball gun.
Yeah, and like kids will always be like, oh, I've gotten shot with like my cousin's frozen paintballs. And like I can't tell you how many times I've heard the frozen paintball thing while being here, and I'm just like, that's not a thing. Like
Mythbusters has proved that it's not a thing.
Yeah, I was like, if anything, like break you, like I don't know. It's just one of the things that like I guess people are like don't understand if you've never really played before.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Whenever I hear that too, like, what about frozen paintballs? I go on Google right now and type it. Mythbusters did a whole thing about it. You cannot freeze a paintball.
Dude, I just moved past it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so anyway, you want to play? Like, let's go play paintball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I just kind of like, it's like, you know, sometimes when I do my sales thing, you know, I'm just like, okay, cool, man. But that was in the past. So now we're going to talk about today. And anyway, so Sal, all right. So you've been growing the rec ball thing. Now, is this your last, this is it for you? You're done?
Yeah. I officially graduate tomorrow, electronically because I don't have a walking graduation ceremony, but yeah, it should be tomorrow. So I'm working on finding a new president and passing the club on to someone else who can hopefully keep it going.
Now, is this something, I mean, honestly, is this something, do you plan to continue with anything? I mean, do you have any paintball plans past this, or you haven't even thought about that? You're like, I graduated, man. Give me a day or two here or whatever. Like, what's the next move?
I mean, especially because like I've been quarantining. Like, I just want to play. Like, I've had my setup like next to my bed, and it's fully put together.
Right over there. Hang on.
I'll like walk out into my living room and I'll like snap out the door and like shoot my roommate. Like,
always ready to go.
Like, I sat there for like 2 hours the other day shooting my gun with like atomic pickles.
Oh yeah, I want to get those. How are those?
They're pretty sick. Like I think they're really fun. Yeah.
I order me some.
And like my roommate's like scared of them, so like I'll just piece the door and he'll be like, "Oh my god!" But like they don't hurt. Like you can actually shoot yourself like pretty close up, and like you don't feel them.
Right.
I just like need to play. Like I've been itching so much. So like I think I'm gonna go home. Like I'm going home in July after my lease ends down here.
Mhm.
But I'm just gonna probably try to come out to Cousins again and just reacquaint myself with people that I don't know because I'm obviously the paintball scene up there has changed. There's probably some familiar faces,
Bro,
but I
you
want
know me now, and I'm always there, bro. So you're always,
yeah,
I'm always
like,
down
I
the
want to be able
ball.
to play again. Hopefully, get on a team and just honestly like be a player rather than someone who runs the team. Because like I ran this team, I ran the team with my friends, and like I'm kind of just tired of being
The guy, yeah, I hear
Sucks.
you.
like does everything. And like I'd love to just be yelled at from like the point of like you didn't shoot this guy in the snake. Like what are you doing? Like when Waldo would like coach us. So I just missed that being able to just be like a free roam player and like actually like working on my game, not having to worry about the technicalities of campus or like the limitations that come with signing up for events and stuff.
Yeah,
All the paperwork, all the BS, and anything like
Yeah.
that.
Because like at least down here, like I've had to maintain all the social media pages. I have to submit waivers for everyone who plays once a week.
Mhm.
I have to fill out like competition reports. Like when we do compete, I have to fill out the end competition report to tell them how we did. And it's just like a lot of like nitty things that like no one really expects to go on like from the club perspective. Like people just think we would go out and play, but there's like a lot more to it than just playing the sport.
Mhm. One thing I want to ask you about before we move on is because we're not going to have a lot of people that experience this. Is what is the virtual like graduation like in the last month? Been taking virtual classes and all that kind of stuff related to that.
Honestly, like I don't like it at all.
I wouldn't either.
So like I'm studying biology, like I'm trying to apply to med school within like the next 2 weeks, but we've had like I have 2 lab courses that just had to move online. So we've been doing virtual labs and like obviously like this is like a pioneering thing for everyone. So
Mhm.
our teachers started off going in the lab and like actually doing it and then asking us questions over like a similar thing like this. But
Right.
then he decided that to spend 3 hours doing the lab doesn't make sense. So he made us all download like an online program to where we can do it virtually. Like that's just been like tedious. Classes, like I just don't feel like as engaged as much. Like sitting here, like looking at the screen, I'm like, okay, I could space out and do whatever. Whereas like in the classroom, like I'm actually face to face with someone, like I'm talking, I'm engaging. I just don't feel like I learn as much sitting here. And also, like I'm really good at procrastinating, so time management aspect of things, I'll be like, oh, I'll do something later, and I'll sit in my bed and play like Xbox, and like the paper will be due tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, so I'll spend all night doing the paper just because like I just don't have the sense of like, oh, this is really needs to be done, or like things just pile up.
It doesn't seem real to you. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my head, it hasn't hit me yet. Like everyone's joking around about how like we're washed up now, but to me, like I start next fall, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for classes, but like I don't have anything.
So kind of go to, I know we kind of have everything kind of basically about, you know, the club, about you and everything like that. But kind of, I mean, you're going out with a bang. I mean, was your last tournament was the one with that trophy? Can we see that thing? Or was there one after that? Like, let's get the lowdown. I mean, walk us through that event, actually. Walk us through that event from I signed us up and I filled out the pre-campus report, and then I have a freaking Pegasus trophy.
Okay, so we played like this is kind of like funny. It's funny to me, but like I don't know how like you guys would think of it. So like we played Cup and we came in 10th at the D4 5-man in Cup. And for us, like that was pretty good because the year before, like we came in like 30 something. Like we did terrible. Like we didn't even make it to Sunday. So like this year we made Sunday, and then we beat the first team that we played. We lost to the second team that we played, but the second team that we played went on to like win the whole thing. So we were like, oh, like we were that close.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had that like we were that close feeling ever since last year because at Nationals we shared a hotel with Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they beat us in like Ocho finals and then won the national tournament. And we were like, dude, like we lost twice to the team that won. Like we can win. We just need to like shape up and like be better. So we were getting ready. Like this was a fall semester, so it was like right after November, and it was right before the SPL season like started up. So we were all like, okay, we're gonna start practicing every weekend. Like we're just gonna grind out, do drills. And UCF and like MVPS posted that they were gonna host like an event on their campus. And I looked at this thing and I was like, oh, there's no shot. Like UCF's like disgustingly good. Like we would never like compete with a team like that. Like I guess I shouldn't have been that like pessimistic about it, but I was just looking at the facts. I was like, my team's we're like in decent shape, but like, I don't know if we can like compete like with all those teams that are like well established. Like they have a roster of like 15, 18 guys where we have like 7 right now.
Right.
So, I was like, all right, you guys know what? Like, it's on UCF campus. Like, we might as well go. So I put it in the group chat. I'm like, who wants to go play this event? And like, people were just like, yeah, I think we'll do it. So I like registered the team, and I looked at I was harping on the list on it, like on PB Leagues for like a hawk. I'm like, who's signing up? Who's playing? And then we paid it up, and like we showed up, and it was like us, Virginia Tech, Embry-Riddle, and 3 lines of UCF paintball. So we were like, oh man. And it ended up not being on the campus because when they were like, I guess putting the nets up, they hit a water main.
Oh.
So they had to move it to Battlefield Orlando like the day before the tournament.
Whoa.
So like we were just like, damn it. Like we only played it because we wanted to play on campus in front of students.
Like that would have been cool. Like, yo,
Yeah,
I played
right.
like how many times has that happened before? I don't think
Never.
ever really,
And like the thing about this was like it's the first NCPA like at least regional event in Florida for like a while. Like I guess a couple of the teams, like a couple of schools like Florida Gulf Coast and USF, which is also in Tampa, like they disbanded teams. So like there's not that many teams realistically like in the state right now. So it was like kind of like a big deal to just go and show face and like be able to be a part of that like college paintball culture down here. Cause like what other event would we play? Nationals? Like other teams play in their circuits and like we don't get the opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. So we showed up with like, I want to say like we had 6 guys. I don't think we had 5. It was definitely, I think it was 6. And then we had Alan come as the coach. And we played 1 point at a time. And like, we had like a solid team. It was me, Carmine, this kid, Jack, who graduated, who's like really good in the Doritos. And then this kid, Zane. Oh yeah. Zane, Kevin, and wow. I can't even remember my own team. Brad. Brad doesn't go here anymore. Brad transferred like after the event, but after Cup, Brad was like, I'm selling all my things. And he sold all his stuff like at Cup. So I was like, yo, Brad, like we got one more kick at the bucket. Are you in or not? And he was like, yeah, I guess. So we all rolled up to this event. Like we didn't practice weeks before. Like we didn't practice anything. They put out the layout the day before or whatever it was. And we were just going in blind. We're like, all right, let's do it. And like we showed up and we played 1 point at a time. Like honestly, things just started like falling into place and it worked. And then like there was like at one point, like we somehow like we steamrolled Embry-Riddle, we steamrolled like Virginia Tech. Like they didn't win a point the whole day. They just packed up and went home like mid-event. And then we beat the 2 UCF teams. And then like they had like their one line with like the 2 like Tampa Bay Jits kids who were like gross. And like they beat us. Like they were the only team we lost to like all day. So like moving into semis, the kid Brad like went out there and his hopper was broken. So he played the whole last half of the tournament with no hopper. Like the thing didn't work. So he took out the tray and just like gravity fed the spire like into his gun. And we were playing basically like 4-on-5. And like we beat Embry-Riddle in the semis to go play against UCF in the finals. And I kid you not, they beat us in 14 seconds in the first point.
Ooh.
Like I picked my gun off the break and I got waxed. Like my whole lens was like yellow. And I like watched everyone just die. And I was like, there's no shot. Like I was just like, oh man, like this is really how it's gonna end. Like we were doing so good. So like I go back to like the station. I'm like, yo, give me like 6 pods. And I was like, everyone carry like 2 more pods than you normally do. Like we're gonna go out, we're gonna shoot. Like everyone's just gonna shoot guns. Like we're not running anywhere, we're just gonna gun. Mm-hmm. And like we got into like a huge gunfight that whole game. Like it almost like ran out of time, but we ended up like coming up really close. Like we beat them and like we tied it 1-1 and we were going into the final point, like 1 apiece. Next game obviously like wins the tournament. Mm-hmm. So I honestly don't remember like the whole unfolding of the break. I just remember like the end part of the game. I just know like we shot someone off the break. I don't remember if it was me, but I shot the guy like in my mirror. Like I'm playing on the snake side. So like I shot someone, like I was playing the corner because I wasn't having luck like playing the front. So I threw some other kid there and like I was playing behind him. So I shot the one guy in my mirror and I was yelling at the kid in like the snake. I was like, yo, go. And like he didn't. So I took off and I crawled all the way into their snake 1. And like I picked my head up, I bodied one guy, bodied another guy. And then I'm like looking around and I just see one person left. And then it's like my 2, like I guess I lost guys. Like this is like we just don't talk all the time. So like this is with me going through my head. I was like, oh, we're like, okay. There was a kid behind me. The kid that didn't go into the snake was behind me. And I'm like, yo, Kevin, like where, like what do you got? And I look across the field and this kid, Kevin's just taking off. He's running. I'm like, oh, he's going to go stitch this guy. Kevin gets waxed. And then the other guy in my Doritos gets waxed. So at this point, I'm like, oh, it's me versus this one guy. Like, let's just go, like, let's like mop up. And like, I walked in, like, I came out of the snake, took the Aztec that was like right in front of the can. So we were like one bunker apart. And we just started like battling. Like, he bounced me in the elbow. And like, I wasn't even going to be like, oh, like, I'm not even going to look at it. I was going to come out. I gogged him.
Right.
I clopped him in the, like, I just hit him right in the lens. And all I heard was, fuck. And then I didn't even say anything. Like, I didn't look. I just went and smacked the buzzer, turned around, and just started flipping out because it was the first event I've ever won that wasn't your Woods Ball Tournament Series beginner event.
So, like, right. And you've been playing a long time, man. You know?
Yeah, never won an event. So I started screaming, flipping out, and like clean, like I bounced obviously. So I was flipping out, like everything was going through my head. I was like, no way, we just won a tournament. Like I can't believe that. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, not even focused on the fact that like we won. Like I hugged Carmine or whatever, but then everyone was looking at the kid on UCF because after I shot him, he turned around and spiked his gun into the ground and started like pounding the floor. And like I didn't even know that it happened. Like I just didn't see it. And
right. You were too busy winning.
I was all over the place. Like I was flipping out, and then he went to shake my hand, and I was just so happy that like I didn't even do it. I was just like, oh my god. And then like they had it on like the little broad, like they had like the web stream. So like I watched it later, but like I was just like living it up for like a whole like 2 weeks. Like I just couldn't believe I won a paintball event. And like on the grand scheme of the universe, it's probably like the smallest thing ever. But for me, it just like felt really good because I was like, this was the first win that like my team's ever had in like club history. Mm-hmm. So to be a part of it was like pretty big for me.
No, dude, for sure. Someone smart once told me, be proud of your accomplishments first, because if you're not, no one else is gonna be. So you should definitely be proud of it for sure, man.
And yeah, this is it. It's a horse.
What's up?
Yeah, it's a fucking legit trophy though, bro. It's probably the most legit trophy I've ever seen.
It was mad cool. And like I just like I don't know, like I was just bugging out because like the main thing that was like really like I guess like an eye opener to me is like I grew up watching like NCPA on TV when I was in like middle school, and I was like, oh, like I know these teams. Like I remember watching like Cal State Long Beach, UConn, like FGCU, and like UCF, and like I played against them and I like won an event, and I was like, that just like happened. Like I never would have thought that I had the opportunity to play college paintball and like win something.
You would have never thought that this was even a thing.
Yeah.
It's like even on a lesser scale, but it's like, you know, watching Dynasty and you beat fucking Dynasty, and it's like, you know, I mean, I'm sure that's something you would love, but I mean, even so, it seems like
Dynasty.
Dude, I still fangirl when I roll up to the HK tent and see them there, and I'm like, oh my god, like I watched you when I was like 10. Like I just like I don't know.
I don't get like that, but you know, I'm me. I don't care about any of the pros. I'm like they suck.
I don't know.
Yeah, I played against them in ICC and they beat my ass.
But yeah, so like that was like my roller coaster ride of adventure, and I was like, oh, we're coming into nationals hot. Like we're gonna do really well if we just like won this event, and then COVID-19 was like, nope. Mm-hmm. Well, like the one cool thing about it was like anyone who was graduating this year and like didn't have the opportunity to play this year's nationals is getting like a waiver to be able to play in next year's. So like they're letting anyone who got out play next year. So like I'll probably come back down here and try to like reassemble the squad and like try to like win, I guess.
Yes, because I was about to say, is that something you're interested in? It sounds like, yeah, you are.
Oh, 100%. Like I had plans of like coming down to Florida just to play Cup again. Like it's just fun.
I need to play a Cup. I've never played a World Cup.
It's a pretty interesting. Like I don't know, because like I've never played anything else like at such a big scale. Mm-hmm. So like I don't know how the other events are. Like I've never played Dallas. I never played MAO. Like I've went to watch at MAO or like when it was in Atlantic City, but I never actually played. So I can't really tell you how it compares. But everyone says Cup is the event, you know?
Yeah, I've only played a handful of like I've only been to one NXL event period. So like I just think it'd be good. I could check it off the box. Like I've been to Cup.
Yeah. That was for me too. I want to play 10-man.
I actually would want to play 10-man too. I want to do the mounds too. I want to do all that stuff. I'm a big mech guy anyway.
I want to get an E-mech.
They're a good gun, man. For the price, it's a good gun.
I got rid of mine.
But shouldn't have done it. Another one.
I want to get one of those really cool like 3D printed bodies that everyone's putting out now.
I know a dude that does it. You can pretty much get whatever you want.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That reminds me, I got to get mine back from. I think he lost it, bro. I think someone was supposed to hydro dip one that I made, and I think he lost it. He lost it
last year when we went to get wings or something.
Yeah, dude, he lost that shit. I'm telling you, Eric, wherever you are. Eric, you will give me my fucking body back. You lost it. So, kind of, wrapping up or coming up on, an hour and everything like that. Is there anyone, you want to thank? There's anybody, plug everything. Instagram, make sure you look at the banner behind you and plug your sponsors and everything like that, man.
I mean, one of the big drivers of like my paintball life, other than you, like really, because like you helped me like really figure out paintball as like a thing when you were driving us through the middle school EPL train. Probably like our past president, Alan. He's really been a big part of me growing in paintball and as a person. Like he's taught me a lot about life, not just because of the sport. And I've had like a really good opportunity to be able to play with someone like that. I know, like I feel like this sport gives you so many things. And like one of the things is like the brotherhood and like the friendship. Like you don't see this, like the camaraderie is just unlike anything else I've ever done. Like I play hockey here too, but paintball it brings together so many people that are so different. So it really like allows you to connect with those people over the same thing that you shoot a gun with paintballs. And so I really want to thank him. He's taught me a lot because like I learned a lot from him through this whole presidential thing. And then probably like, we rock Zodiac paintball stuff. He's a pretty cool guy. Ken over there. He's hooked us up this year. Like he's definitely done a lot to like help improve our program. Without him, we couldn't carry out a lot of our fundraisers this year. And I guess like buy HK because like wait over here, buy HK. There you go. And yeah, that's great.
Shout out to Be Short.
Yeah, Be Short over at HK and Wicked Sports too. I can't forget about them. They're our local shop. They give us a lot of support when it comes to buying paint gear. They really help us get a lot of the new kids into the sport by helping us like let the kids try stuff on or like really get to like handle everything before they go and shell out money.
That's awesome, man. And where can people find the club? Facebook, Instagram,
Facebook, we have University of Tampa Spartans Paintball, and Instagram is UT_Spartans Paintball.
Awesome, man. So definitely, stay on. We'll chat a little bit after this. But again, that's Sal Corallo, University of Tampa, still a Patton Avenue kid. Regardless if he's 20-something years old, he'll always be a Patton Avenue kid, arena rat. And just again, want to thank our sponsor, Dizana Sports. Head on over there, get the 10% off, Grind Air gloves, the SF joggers and anything like that. And get your jerseys through them. I know he said buy HK, but I mean, I'm going to shout out Dizana Sports here for all your jersey and apparel needs, and use code Overshot. Let Tim and the boys know that we sent you. And peace out. Share it, like it, subscribe it. You know where to find us. If you don't, hit the show notes, and we'll see you guys out there on the field. And everybody stay safe.